Welcome to the Fellowship of the Script. This is the podcast where we dive deep into the craft, struggles, and stories of filmmaking. I am your host, Ben Escobar.
And I'm your host, Derek Bowder.
And whether you're just starting out, whether you've been in the industry for years, this is a place for real talk and conversation about the art and business of film. Today, we are going to talk about 4 films that we think every filmmaker should watch, regardless of experience level.
Before we get into why we chose this topic, if you're watching or listening on Spotify, be sure to please follow us so you get notified every time we drop a new episode. And it also helps our podcast get recommended to new people. Appreciate it. But by the way, I am still recovering from a bit of a cold here. So please excuse my nasally congested voice right now.
It's all good. So Derek and I picked 2 films each. One is a recent modern film, 21st century. Another is probably 20th century. Not so recent, but still important to see. We can kind of chat about why we chose the topic for a second before we name the films.
Yeah, so obviously watching films is a great way to learn about filmmaking, but these films are actually in one way or another about filmmaking, or they have something that ties into them. Like one of Ben's picks has a documentary that you can watch that's really crazy and insightful. I would say it's required viewing if you want to be a filmmaker. These are what we would consider good, if not great, films. And it's both of the films that I'm about to recommend are definitely like near and dear to my heart for several reasons, and I'm sure Ben can say the same. So I can go with my first pick.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, we'll dive right into it. So my first pick, which might not be a surprise to some of the people listening that have followed my content for years, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which came out in 2019, which I can't believe it's already been that long, dude. 6 years. It is a great film. Very well rounded. It is a long film, but I find it to be very entertaining. There's so many different storytelling devices used in this one. Tarantino really not only shows you what it's like to be on a set from different aspects, but it's also a love letter to Hollywood. And you get to see what Hollywood was like at a very big turning point. If you did not know, it's about the Sharon Tate murder, like the Manson murder stuff kicking off. And well, it's not about that, but that is a big point in the film. I don't want to get into spoilers, but a lot of people consider that the day Hollywood died. That's actually like what they were calling it when it happened. Very tragic, but we follow 2 characters. Well, we follow 3 characters. We follow Margot Robbie as Sharon Tate. We follow Leonardo DiCaprio as his name is blanking my mind in the story, but Cliff Booth is played by Brad Pitt, and you see their relationship as both an actor trying to transition from television to movies, and Brad Pitt is this stuntman, and it is just it's got so much 60s energy to it, and it has a lot of scenes in it that I find memorable. There's a big sequence or a big chunk of the film around the second act that takes place on a Western set. Leonardo DiCaprio is trying to like remember his lines and all this stuff, and it's just really eye opening if you've never seen what it's like to actually be on a set and everything that goes into it. Obviously, in the 60s, things were a little different. You know, they were shooting on film, which is less common now. But you know, a lot of the same things that apply today you see in that film, and then again, it's also just a really fun story, and I think it's close to 3 hours. You get to hear a lot of talk, banter about movie stars and how a stuntman and an actor their relationship works, and there's so many great actors and actresses in it. It's got a lot of Tarantino's signature cameos in it, all over it, and him being a big fan of westerns, a lot of it is very Western feeling. Cliff Booth was such a huge fan favorite that they're actually doing a spin-off movie that David Fincher's directing, so that's pretty cool. Netflix is doing that. Yeah, Ben, what do you think of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I think that's an easy classic, and it just wears its heart in its sleeve for classic filmmaking in a way that, not a lot of other movies really do. And it's just exciting that it's a lot of people's favorite movies. It's a lot of people's favorite movie just because I don't know, there's something magical to it. The blend of fantasy and reality, the swagger to it is just so alive and well within LA, like when you're passing by these cities and stuff, and like just the vibe of like driving with the windows down at night down Hollywood Boulevard or Sunset
Yeah.
Boulevard, and like you think about where you're at with your life or your career, or like whether you're alone or with friends or with a girl or like with a guy or whatever. It's just it's a mindset, I think. That's what Hollywood is. And it's also a, you know, state of being. It's a friend group. It is everything and more. And yeah, it's a film that just captures that. And a lot of people are living that life actively, whether they, you know, actively realize, I'm being Cliff Booth right now. Or some people are trying to be Cliff Booth and failing. And, it's just a vibe. There's no other way to put it. It's just such a positive, timeless thing.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite film of Tarantino's, which I'm seeing more and more people say. I think there's just something about it that makes it so rewatchable. It's basically a hangout film at the same time, if you think about it. A lot of these characters are, I mean, I would say the first two acts of the film basically take place in like 2 days or something. So it's it has a very in the moment feel to it. You see Leonardo DiCaprio trying to learn his lines. You see Brad Pitt as Cliff Booth trying to land a gig and
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of stuff. There's some controversial things in there with Bruce Lee, and there's just so much to it that I could talk about for hours. But I just think there's so much in it at its core about filmmaking and the love of filmmaking and the desire to matter in a world where people tell stories for a living. It's just, I mean, it makes me want to watch it again right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those movies where you can literally just jump in at any moment. I remember I was at a friend's house when I was in the Coast Guard after it had come out. And I think it was on HBO or something, and it was in the middle of the film, and we all just stopped and watched the rest of it. We just got sucked in instantly because it's one of those films where no matter what part you started at, there's something interesting happening. And the
That's cool.
third act is probably one of my favorite uses of tension and like disarming a character and things like that. It's there's yeah, it's just a blast of a film, but also like I would say it is the film, since it came out right before I got out of the Coast Guard, that just reinforced that I wanted to get out and start making films. And
Wow.
I knew that it wasn't quite like that anymore. Obviously, it's a very specific time in Hollywood, and things are different now with streaming services and all that. But I got to see the Western set, or we saw the Western set when we went on that Hollywood tour. Remember, they used that Universal lot, the Western
Oh
set. Yeah,
yeah, that was so cool.
it's like next to the Nope set, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, great film. I can't recommend it enough. And if you don't like it, it's too bad. I love it, and I think you're wrong if you think it's a bad movie.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So yeah, my film that I picked, aside from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is called My First Film. It is a film by Zia Anger that just came out in 2024, so last year. It is my favorite film of 2024. I can maybe say it is one of my favorite films of the 21st century, like probably top three. Um, it is, I think, one of the greatest movies ever made about making movies. It probably is my number one, I'd say. If I had to pick what is the greatest movie about making movies for me, number one is probably My First Film. This is a very small film. It is an indie. It is very meta. It is very subversive, but there has never been something that I've seen that is so right on target, right on the money, exactly what the experience is of being a filmmaker in the 21st century. in the 2010s and the 2020s, and having these aspirations of these mystical greats that came before you, like Spielberg or Ron Howard or all these like classic, you know, filmmakers, or even beyond that, some of like the new indie filmmakers like Sean Baker or like Linklater or stuff like that. Like if you idolize those kind of people, you have probably caught the bug to want to make your first feature and be like them and be amongst, you know, the greats. And something that's fascinating about Zia Enger's film is it is about exactly that, yet it is so poignant about the personal journey and the personal toll it has on you to push yourself to that degree, to that level of like supposed greatness where you have to prove to yourself, prove to others around you, and prove to the system, the festivals like Sundance and all these like beautiful, like crazy goals that every filmmaker kind of has, where it's like, I want to make my first feature. I'm going to make it for no money. I'm going to start it myself if I have to. And I'm going to get into Sundance and they're going to say what a great story it was. This filmmaker did it all. And they're really doing the advice that, you know, the people before like Sean Baker and all them told them to do, which was, you know, go out and make a movie. Things do not go well for her. In fact, this is not even the first film that she actually made. This is sort of a meta retelling of a story of this director's first time making a movie, that she did exactly that. She got as many friends that she could get to work for free together, with as little resources, with as big of an idea, yet as small of an idea as possible that was real about her experience, but then also while she was, you know, sleeping with people on the set and getting pregnant, and then also having to
Oh
deal with
man.
that, and just a lot of different kind of wrenches thrown in this system that just wreck her as a person. And what's fascinating is this all happened like 2000, early 2010s, or maybe like late 2000s. And this film is a retelling of all of these real life experiences of this director, but she's now like 30s, 40s, directing other people to do what happened on her first feature. And it is so personal. It is so affecting. The ending is unbelievable. It is on Mubi. Mubi distributed this. This is one of Mubi's best movies ever. I think everything Mubi touches turns to gold, and they are the true saviors of cinema right now, if there are any. And I think this is just so slept on. I cannot speak highly enough about this. But if you have gone through the process, or going through the process of making your first feature, or not even that, a project that is taking everything out of you, and you fail and you're left with nothing and you don't know what it is or where to go from there, like, this is the movie for you. I have done that. I relate to that. I did the first feature. I started it myself. I paid for it myself. I got all my friends to do it. And I said I was going to make it into Sundance, and I didn't get into a single festival. I got into like one or two, but like I didn't get into any of like the big ones I wanted to get in. And that's a scene in this movie. It's not to spoil it, but she, you know, it just goes into the realities. I could talk for hours and hours on this. I'm sorry, but yeah,
I felt the same way about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like I gotta find just a spot to just be like, okay, I've said enough. Go check out the movie. You
yeah.
know, but that's very interesting because I think myself, you know, approaching my first feature right now, I'm realizing that while yes, you know, my goal is to make, you know, a great film, a film that I can be proud of. Another part of it is the goal is just to make a feature, you know, and like that's a miracle on its own. And so, yeah, I definitely need to check this one out, even though I think the reason why I didn't check it out before is because you told me about it and just sounded kind of depressing. But it seems very interesting.
It is. It's sort of depressing. It's more funny too. Um,
Okay,
but
that's
it's,
good.
I would say, I don't know if I would recommend watching it before or after you've made your feature, which is I don't know how to describe the advice, but like I will say, had I had this the year I finished my first film experience, my first film experience was in 2018. Had I had this movie when I did that, or right after I was going through that, which was a very depressing, tumultuous time in my life, to like, you know, have that, the the aftershock of, oh my God, all your dreams that you've put into and this, the hopes and goals is not going to happen. Like, it changes you as a person, and I'm fundamentally changed because of it. Had I had that movie at the time, I would have been much better for it, and I would have felt so much less alone. But I cry like a baby when I see my first film because it's just so real.
Oh,
There's just no better
what
film.
was the budget of your first feature?
$5,000.
Wow. Yeah, that's I would be so like terrified to even try with
Yeah,
$5,000, man. That's crazy. Like, let
yeah,
alone like a short film. You know, that's not much to work with at all. Especially now, 2018, it probably went a little farther. But man,
yeah.
yeah, a
It was like
feature is just
it was in school at the time too, so partially was like leveraging people getting class credit and stuff, and getting to skip a class if you got to work on my feature, you know. But still, it was
people are like, I'm not here because I want to work on this. I'm just trying to skip some class. That
yep.
sucks. Damn.
It's okay. It's okay. Um, yeah.
Before I get into my second pick and Ben's second pick, we're gonna take a little ad break here. Subscribe to the Spotify, Apple Podcast page, and the YouTube channel. We would really appreciate the support. Leave us some reviews. Follow us on our socials. I go by Danny Dorito 23 everywhere, including Letterboxd. I don't know why I haven't been plugging my Letterboxd. I'm like pretty avid about logging films on there. Um, and I love discussing in the comments. I have conversations with people in the comments. So, and Ben goes by.
At Real Ben Escobar or at Genie Boy Games for my game and sometimes film content. But yeah.
And we have a free Discord where we talk about movies, we do giveaways. Come join us, talk about whatever. You know, we talk about video games and stuff. Just don't start any drama and we'll have a fun time. We are doing monthly giveaways. We also have some giveaways planned for different milestones. We did a G Fuel tub giveaway. We did G Fuel sample giveaways. 5 people won samples for when we hit 100 YouTube subs. We're going to be doing something similar for 250. We are close to 10 Spotify ratings, so I'll be doing a giveaway for that. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Do something for that. And when we hit 250 Discord members, I'll probably do something special too. But if you've already joined our Discord and you want to get involved beyond that, join our Patreon for exclusive giveaways. Giveaway tubs to both US only viewers, and also we do an international giveaway because I know shipping is expensive and some people, you know, they haven't tried G Fuel and they want to give it a shot. So you can win a tub no matter where you live. And then you also have the ability to be a producer. We have several producers who are incredibly supportive and generous, and we talk to them all the time on Discord. We also have a film fellowship. We're about to do our October film fellowship this Saturday. I need to schedule that with you, Ben. I have a bunch of stuff going on that day. The balloon festival is happening and stuff, but we'll
Oh,
talk after
interesting.
this. And then next Saturday, which is, let me give you a date because some people might be interested in attending. The 11th is going to be our hangout, which is for our $1 and up members. So for only $1 a month, you can hang out with us and talk to us essentially face to face. You can also submit a monthly question. This is for our $3 patrons and up. And as you may have seen in our first monthly Q&A episode, we answer it live on the air. So if you want to submit your question, join the Patreon. Membership start as little as $1, and it is 15% off if you subscribe annually. So, you know, support us on Patreon. We would appreciate it. And thank you to everybody who does that. We would not be able to do the podcast without you. And last but never least, use G Fuel code DannyD for 20% off. I am drinking the new Sage Mode for me. Look at that. It is like juice now, dude. It is so good. I'm just in love with it. I can't wait for you to get your hands on it. I have like 6 new tubs of the 2.0 formula coming. They just, to kick off October, dropped Sour Gummy Worms 2.0. So very excited for that. That was a great flavor that came out a couple years back.
Nice.
And again, code DannyD gets you 20% off. Feel those late night writing sessions, or I drink it when I'm on set to keep me going. And yeah, G Fuel's a great partner, so get you some energy, baby. Now, on to my second pick. I got a bit of a little more under the radar one, or at least it's definitely not talked about as much as it used to be. A film from 1995 called Living in Oblivion.
Mm.
This is a film. I don't know if you've seen it, Ben. You seen it?
I've only seen scenes. I've not seen it in full.
Yeah, I could see people, you know, pulling specific scenes from it. But this is a movie that follows independent film director Nick Reeve, who's played by Steve Buscemi, as he makes his first feature, a no budget feature. So you're seeing a reoccurring theme here. Everything that can go wrong does. The rebellious catering crew refuses to replace spoiled milk. Actors start to get flaky, and getting an unspoiled take is nearly impossible. You see tensions rise amongst crew members. I don't want to give away some of the narrative tools that are used because they genuinely like threw curveballs at me. There's a bunch of actors that are huge now, like Dermot Mulroney. I can't remember. He's just in like the one of the Scream movies. I think it was Peter Dinklage is in it.
No way.
There's a bunch of people in it, and it I thought it did a really great job of capturing what it's like to be on a set and the problems that come up and how frustrating it could be when some little thing that seems like it should be simple just doesn't work out. But also they problem solve, which is really cool to see, you know? It's a really fun movie. It's a comedy, which so is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And yeah, it's an indie film about making a no budget indie film. So doesn't get any more filmmaking oriented than that. I just want to see if I had some other notes about it. Yeah, it just I mean it shows so many different perspectives from the actors, the director. There's I think a couple of scenes where literally a guy's like driving around picking up crew members. You know, like there's just
Hmm.
so much about it that I just had a lot of fun with it. You know, having that experience being on a set and stuff. But yeah, it is from the '90s, so it's a little dated. I don't remember if this one's shot on film, but man, it's a lot of fun and it definitely has a heart. And it's also got some fun narrative structure for writers. You know, if you want to see a different way to tell a story, you know. Yeah, I recommend that one just as much as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's definitely lower budget, but yeah, I definitely found it to be insightful. So, Living in Oblivion.
Nice. Good pick. Um, so should I say mine?
Yeah, go for it, man.
So my second pick, this is a tough one, and I had an honorable mention I may or may not mention, but like I'd be curious if Derek has an honorable mention as well. Um, but this one I saw very, very late in life. I actually saw it for the first time last year, and I had prioritized seeing this for the first time in a theater, and I was very lucky to see it in a 70 millimeter print in a theater at the Egyptian Theater in LA. And it was actually a cut that had no credits whatsoever. So there's no opening credits and there's no ending credits. So it just starts and ends. And it was a very unique experience in that regard because it was basically like um, it just kind of highlights the overall vibe and gut punch of what this movie is. It is Apocalypse Now. Francis Ford Coppola, obviously. I think this is his best film. I'm not crazy about The Godfather as everyone else is. I also just think this stands on its own as like a filmmaking achievement that just very few people have come close to. Like this is a piece of time about like a war that was obviously very significant, but like more than anything, this is a piece of time in a personal filmmaker's life that you can just kind of see beyond the screen of like Coppola putting his all into this, every actor putting their all into this, and really being in the shit. There's a scene I always kind of quote whenever I'm like repeatedly going back to a spot that's just kind of like, all right, here we go again, where he kind of wakes up and he looks out, he's looking up and he sees like he hears like a helicopter roar, and then he sees like match cuts to his ceiling fan. Then he
Yeah.
wakes up, yeah, and he goes out, he goes up to his window and he like opens the blinds. He's like, Saigon, shit. It's just like, here we go again. But like I always be quoting that. But like that is the vibe of this entire thing, where it's like just Saigon, shit. But I don't know. This is just true all or nothing filmmaking. And it's inspiring to see. It is raw. It does not give a fuck. And it comes with so much swagger. I think this has a lot in common with like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where if that's a love letter to the LA life and the Hollywood nights of our lives and living in that vibe, I feel like this is a, very swag heavy homage to pushing yourself to the brink of survival, and also just the only way out is through. I don't know how else to kind of
I think
isolate the film to, but yeah.
I think a lot of what you're saying ties into the you have it noted here. You say plus optional Hearts of Darkness double feature. I think you should it should be required. Watch Apocalypse Now, and then watch Hearts of Darkness, which is the documentary that Francis Ford Coppola's wife made about him making Apocalypse Now, and you will have, if you don't appreciate the film already, it will be pretty mind blowing. I remember watching that documentary. I think it's free to watch on like YouTube. I think I might have watched it on like Amazon, but um, essentially, it is a movie that I think it's a masterpiece, but it almost shouldn't be because there's so many things that went wrong. But
Mm-hmm.
Francis Ford Coppola just made it work. For example, Marlon Brando. I mean, he kept asking for more money, and they gave it to him. And then he showed up, and he hadn't even read the script. He didn't know. He didn't know his lines. There are so many like behind the scenes moments where he's like doing a monologue, and all of a sudden he's like, "I just swallowed a bug." Dude, but the movie it's absolutely one of the most badass films I've ever seen, but also like haunting. The
Yeah.
ending, I mean, there's different cuts of it. I can't remember which cut I watched. I think I watched the theatrical version. But yeah, it is I do agree. I think it's his best film. I love I wouldn't say I love the Godfather movies. I respect them and I've watched them, but man, they are slow. Um and this is just like it just keeps unraveling, and if you don't know what it's about, it's essentially I don't know if you want to explain. This is your pick, Ben.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
So it's who's the lead actor again you were just talking about? You looked that up, but essentially this guy is essentially tasked with going to find this like rogue general in the jungle who's essentially it turned like a village into like his own like place that he reigns over as like king, and it's Marlon
Martin
Brando
Sheen.
that Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that how is he related to Charlie Sheen? I don't remember.
I don't know. There's also Robert
I can't remember.
Duvall as well, isn't it?
But yeah, Robert Duvall has a famous line in that one. I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yeah,
Um,
Lawrence Fishburne as well. It's Harrison Ford.
yeah,
It's an incredible cast. Dennis Hopper. Oh my God, Dennis Hopper's
yeah,
role in
Dennis
this
Hopper.
is killer.
I heard he was like full method and like just
Yeah.
going crazy.
He's so good.
Yeah, no,
misses.
the it was one of those movies where I'm watching it and it just keeps getting crazier and crazier, and it's also like the journey itself, is crazy, but then when they get there, I'm like, okay, is this gonna like live up to, the expectations of the journey? And it
Yeah,
was mind blowing, dude.
yeah.
And then when you watch the behind the scenes and you realize that they were essentially winging the third act, I'm like,
Hmm.
dude, it's pure movie magic. And also the documentary just makes it look like it was hell to make that film. But man, was it worth it, because never seen anything like it. And this generation does not appreciate movies like that as much anymore. So they should.
Tough.
Yeah.
The ending montage with like the Doors song "The End" is just
Oh man.
incredible.
After I watched it, I just listened to that song on like repeat. I'm like driving
Yeah.
around town getting
Yeah,
groceries.
dude,
This is
same.
the end.
That was like my Once
The
Upon a
guitar.
Time. Yeah,
Yeah.
my Hollywood night drives is probably to This Is the End, which is ironic that we picked that. Maybe that's what made me think, because I saw your pick first of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was like, Apocalypse Now. But should we mention honorable mentions? We should be probably quick about
Yeah,
it. But
no, I think an honorable mention is something that maybe like doesn't have so much to do about filmmaking, but it's just like a good movie for different reasons. But yeah, go ahead. I have one in mind. So
I'd say Easy Rider. I'm a huge Easy Rider fan. I think that's a great. It's not a film about making movies, but you can kind of tell, and it has a really wonderful history to it, and a story of how it was made. It was actually a 4-hour cut after it happened, and it was like a true hangout film, and then it got condensed into 90 minutes. And Dennis Hopper, speaking of, was, obviously the writer director of it, but also edited it at first to be 4 hours, and then it was taken out of his hands. Somebody cut it down to 90 minutes, and then he said, "Okay, never let me." He saw the cut, and it was like, "Never let me edit a movie again, ever." And he was kicking and screaming prior, but like he learned his lesson. I think it's a cool thing. Just great vibes. It just goes to show you can make a movie really out of anything. It's just heart and soul to it, and a really unforgettable ending. So recommend watching that one.
Yeah, I gotta watch that one still. I gotta watch that and my first film. My honorable mention is Whiplash. If you have not seen Whiplash,
Oh yeah,
such a great fucking film, man. It's about the
yeah.
pursuit of greatness and obsession and the cost of it, and you know, true talent. And one of the craziest performances I've ever seen from J.K. Simmons. My God.
Yeah.
And
And Miles Teller.
yeah, Miles Teller gives a great performance, but I can see why J.K. Simmons got like, did he win or get nominated? I can't
I think he
remember.
won.
I think he won.
Yeah.
Was it Best Supporting?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that also has a really fascinating story to how it got made. It was God, what is his damn name? Why am I blanking on names today, man? I'm usually an encyclopedia. I'm blaming it on the cold. Okay, I got like
Damien Chazelle, the director.
yeah, Damien Chazelle's first film, and
Yeah.
he made a short film, managed to get J.K. Simmons in it, and the actor that played Miles Teller's character was also somebody I recognized. But he made the short film for I don't know how much money, got it into was it Sundance? Yeah, got it into Sundance, and they funded the feature. And I mean, he went on to make La La Land and Babylon. Babylon was one that I think I'll talk about in a future episode like this. By the way, I can think of like a dozen other films that
Mm-hmm.
have to do with filmmaking or showcase filmmaking in one way or another. So we will definitely do follow up episodes to this one. Uh, but yeah, check out these films. They're I would say they're not only great for filmmakers, but if you're somebody who just loves movies in general, like you have to watch these movies. They're so good. Um, and yeah, I mean, I literally this made me want to rewatch Apocalypse Now and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So if only I had the time. There's so many movies to watch, you know. But yeah. So that I guess that does it for the main portion of the episode. Ben, what's anything interesting happened since last episode?
Not really. I've been just hard at work in my game. Got a lot of good progress on that. Hoping to finish the screenplay for that this week. Um, Man, I'm hoping to have a trailer out at the end of this month. I don't know if I'll still meet that goal, but if I when I do have a trailer, it'll be, you know, good all the way. So
Stoked for
I'm
it, man.
just thank you. I'm really loving the process. So
It's good to
that's
hear, man.
just
That's good.
thank you.
I I'm I got a couple things to talk about. So first of all, I got some feedback from the producers who are working on my first feature with me, and it was great feedback, man. It was so good to feel. I don't know if validated is the right word, but like they understood the story and they cared about the characters, and they had a lot to say and questions, and like the way they asked them, I'm like they totally are on the money. Like I was essentially just confirming their thoughts about what it all entailed and meant. And I'm still waiting for Ben to give me feedback because
Oh, I will. Yeah.
he read the first half in front of me. Um, but I am gonna be working on my notes and hopefully getting a second draft done by the end of this month so that we can start shot listing and scheduling and figuring this out. They told me they said they're all in, and they are down to do a 4 week shoot, so 20 days. And I'm like, that's awesome, you know, to have 20 days to do a script that I wouldn't say like that short because, you know, yeah, it's 76 pages, but it's so much dialogue. So, um, but that would be awesome. And, yeah, just getting more into that. One thing I'm looking forward to this week, and then Ben, you can tell us one thing you're looking forward to this week. Um, finally being over this cold. I hate feeling
Oh,
congested. Like
real.
my ears feel like they're like plugged right now. Everything sounds muffled. Like I'm so congested. So just looking forward to being over that. I've been living on freaking Dayquil and Nyquil for the last couple of days. So, um, well, yeah. What about you, Ben? Anything you're looking forward
Uh,
to?
let's see. I've got a big call tomorrow for a big project. I'm hoping to land. We'll see.
Nice.
It's going to be the first of many calls, and it's going to be a lot of layers of defense to see if it'll happen. But if it happens, it happens, and that'll be excellent. And I'll be the happiest kid on earth. But we'll see. I am so excited for Battlefield 6. I've been seeing these fucking leaks of these battle royale clips, and I'm so hyped, dude. I saw a fucking building collapse in the battle royale mode, and I was like, oh my god, yes, finally, a good battle royale is back, and I'm just so hyped to be playing that shit when it's out, man. That's honestly really keeping me going. And I got to play
Nice.
Silent Hill F. I want to play that. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I've heard some mixed things about Silent Hill F. I heard the combat was kind of frustrating, at least at the
yeah.
beginning. But um, yeah. So that's pretty much it for this episode. Next episode, I think we're gonna do a news roundup since it's the beginning of the month. See what's been going on. We got another big AI story to talk about with this AI actress. So
Oh
stay
yeah.
tuned
What's
for
her name?
that.
Tilly.
I don't need. Don't speak her
Yeah.
name.
It's like Voldemort.
She's not even real. It's a bunch of made up fairy dust. But as always, I'm Derek Bowder.
I am Ben Escobar.
And this is the Fellowship of the Script. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again for the next episode. Until then, keep creating, keep pushing, and keep telling stories that matter. See you in the next one.
See ya.